The Paranormal Investigators by Vincent V. Cava. Miss White opened her door to greet the two goofy-looking gentlemen standing on the old woman's stoop. Both men sported matching blue jumpsuits and heavy black boots that reminded her of the garb worn by the trash collectors that came through her neighborhood every Wednesday morning. In their hands, they held elaborate-looking devices adorned with several shiny buttons, levers, and switches. A rainbow of multicolored cords and cables hung from the bulky, overstuffed sacks each of them had lugging around on their backs. Parked behind them on the street in front of her home was a large, unsightly van, the same color as the jumpsuits. In jumbo white lettering across the vehicle's side panel, it read, "Dan and Big Al, the Paranormal Investigators. Ghosts don't stand a chance." Their faces were pure business. Both men bore intense, serious expressions, seemingly oblivious to the ridiculous scene that they had created at the old woman's front door. Miss White stuck her hand out to greet the men. "Help, ma'am." "Say no more." The tall man, whom she had assumed to be Big Al, brushed by her on his way into the home. "This place is rife with paranormal activity. I can feel it." "It's a good thing that you called, lady." Miss White's eyes widened with intrigue. "Oh my, you can tell that just by me opening the door, lady?" he said. "I've been investigating the paranormal for 12 years. After a while, ghosts, ghouls, and apparitions become something you can just sense. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you had a whole family of ghosts in this dump, but just to be sure, my associate and I brought our spectrometers with us today." The short, rotund man was kneeling in the doorway and fumbling around in his backpack. His bulging gut hung down over his waist as he bent over to fetch a fancy gadget with dozens of knobs and blinking lights out of his bag. The sight of his fat, bulbous belly, as it jiggled to and fro, caused Miss White to reconsider her initial assumption that the big in Big Al was a reference to height. His name did appear second on the van, and the taller one seemed to have more of an alpha personality. The kind of guy who would insist that he received top bill on the marquee. "Now, ma'am," the taller one started to speak again, after helping himself to a couple of the freshly baked oatmeal cookies she had cooling on the counter. "Having a ghost in your home ain't like having mice or roaches. It can be downright dangerous. Once we can properly discern what kind of ghostly entity that we're dealing with here, I'd advise you to let us handle the situation as soon as possible. We are professionals, after all." The other man entered Miss White's house, waving the clunky electronic device through the air, while it beeped furiously in his hands. "What do you got there, Lenny?" the tall man asked, while haphazardly punching buttons into a gizmo of his own. "Oh yeah, Dan, you were right. All kinds of stuff going on in this house." "Wait." Now it was Miss White's turn to interject. The gray-haired spinster extended a bony finger in the direction of the tall man. "If he's Dan, then who's Big Al?" "Oh, Big Al is my brother-in-law," Dan muttered almost incoherently under his breath. "We were originally partners, but my sister's kind of pissed at him on account of some racy text messages that she found on his phone, so, you know." Miss White folded her arms and gave the man an approving smile. "Well, I guess I can't blame you for taking your sister's side. That was very noble of you to put family over your profession." "Yeah," said the fat one, whose name she now knew was Lenny. "That and Dan's been ducking him ever since he lost $1,000 to the guy playing poker last week." Dan gave Lenny a disparaging look. "Anyway, ma'am, there ain't no easy way to tell you this, but you've got ghosts. Now, I don't want you to be alarmed, but this is one of the worst cases I've ever seen." "Oh, good heavens," the old woman cried out. "Is that what those gadgets told you?" The two men came together in the center of the room, standing side by side, as they did when Miss White first opened the door to greet them. Dan, the taller of the two nitwits, was moving into his sales pitch. "Ma'am, we use the very best in apparition detection devices on the market. If there was a ghost anywhere near your house, I guarantee you these doohickeys can sniff 'em out. And it looks like you've got an infestation on your hands because my equipment is going haywire." "Well, what do you think we should do?" "I recommend our platinum package. If you purchase it, we'll perform a sacrifice to appease the unruly spirits that have settled here in your home." Dan leaned a bit closer to Miss White as if he was telling her a secret meant only for her ears. "Don't worry. Of course, we don't really kill anyone. Those stupid ghosts can't tell the difference between a real woman and Lenny's sex doll." Lenny added on, "She feels like the real thing. At least that's what the box she came in said. It doesn't end there, the tall numbskull continued his spiel. The platinum package also includes an exorcism. You don't have to go looking for a priest. I provide the guy. But wait, there's more. If you decide to sign up today, I'll even throw in this official Paranormal Investigators t-shirt. Show her, Lenny. The chubby little troll pulled a navy blue t-shirt out of his backpack. Across the chest was the same slogan from the van. A piece of duct tape had been placed on top of Big Al's name, with Lenny written on it in Sharpie. Miss White powdered her wrinkled cheeks while she pondered over the buffoon's proposal. I don't know. This sounds like it might be expensive. Alright, lady, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. What would you say if I knocked off the $199 analysis fee? The fatty chimed in again. I'd say that you're crazy, Dan. See? Lenny gets it. Never in my life have I done that, but I like you, lady. You remind me of my grandma. Before the dementia set in and she couldn't go to the bathroom by herself anymore. Now, I can't cut off the $499 spectral investigation fee, but I can give you the bargain basement price on an exorcist. How does $1,997 sound? I dare you to find a cheaper exorcist than that. We take cash or check, of course. Miss White hobbled over to shut the door that the two men had left open when they entered her house, making sure to latch both of the locks. Oh my. That's a very tempting offer, but I think I'll be skipping out on the exorcism today, thank you. You're right about there being paranormal activity going on in this house, but it certainly isn't ghosts that you need to worry about. The paranormal investigators watched in terror as a set of fangs extended from the old woman's gums. A pair of bat-like wings sprouted from her back, while Miss White's eyes turned gunpowder black. Hair began flying from her head in clumps as she grew in stature, both in height and girth. She flashed a hungry grin at the two men. Vampires, on the other hand. Now, that could be a problem.